Good to see both you guys. Ashley, what can be done? What should be done right now?
You know, I'm a supporter of the First Amendment right and the right to assemble, but let's get one thing straight. These aren't protests anymore. These are straight up riots. If I were a Democrat Party leader, I would be absolutely embarrassed. Even their website, their party platform says that we should have cooperation instead of conflict. And all you're seeing time and time again at the anti-Trump rallies is conflict, violence against police officers, violence against other people. It's unacceptable, and the Democrat leaders need to step up and stop this.
Yeah, but at the same time, Ashley, I mean, it's coming from both sides. It's not as though we can say, okay, these are just Democrats doing this. In this particular case, you had both sides engaging. So do both sides need to say, okay, enough is enough?
President Donald Trump came out and said, like, we need to stop this. And Kellyanne Conway this morning said, it's time to stop it. And so I have heard nothing. In Berkeley, California Governor Jerry Brown has literally said nothing. And all we've heard is Gavin Newsom come out and say that, oh, it's Trump's fault, he's a bully. Well, take some accountability, take some responsibility for your actions.
You know, we're dealing with a country right now, Kathy, that has become so divided, where people have gotten so extreme, and it's as though neither side wants to talk or listen to the other at all.
I know. It's sad, but both sides are very angry. Both sides are completely opposite in their points of view. So that's where the brawling, that's where the arguments are coming from. These aren't exactly the protesters. These aren't the organized protesters. These seem to be kind of the rogue people that are anti the other side that are coming out. So the Tea Party itself was born out of tax day. So the fact that the protesters for Trump not putting out his taxes being on tax day is symbolic as well. But the Tea Party was never this violent, but neither was
that's what I was going to say. That's where I was.
The Women's March didn't have one arrest. So those organizers were not this violent.
May not have had quite the brutality that we're looking at there in those pictures, but it did have some pretty bad words. You know, Ashley, I just think that right now we have so many problems facing us, facing this world. We need so many things that need to happen and need to get done. Why can't both sides at least put a little bit more of a united front on? I mean, I think actually a lot of Democratic lawmakers are doing something to stoke all of this. In other words, they have made Trump so unacceptable to so many in the base that it only contributes to this kind of animosity.
And if you look at the language on some of these websites and some of the organizers' websites, you see it's fight for this, fight for that, and that rhetoric, the constant rhetoric, is what's continuing to drive it. And there's been no effort to really come together. And I think it goes beyond just being sad. It's unacceptable at this point.
I mean, we can all agree on that, right, Kathy?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's unacceptable.
It's unacceptable. However, Trump, by dismissing these protesters, by saying who's paying these protesters, they're out there. They're not paid. They're out there because they want to be out there. So when the president tweets,
really, I mean, like in the Jeff Flake situation the other day, where you had the DNC saying, "Hey, go get up in Jeff Flake's grill." I mean, they're trying to encourage people to be overly aggressive in a way that I don't think is representative of everyday Americans. You know, how do you explain that kind of thing, Kathy?
Well, with Trump, we did see at his campaign saying, let's put her in jail, let's do something about these people. So Trump did have some rhetoric that was very negative to the people that were against him. So I would say that both sides are guilty. I would say Tom Perez needs to speak on behalf of the DNC, but I would say that President Trump also needs to be aware that people are unhappy. They would like to see his tax returns and not be so dismissive.
I mean, there was the 2005 tax returns, right? Didn't he pay nearly $40 million? I really, you know, and he has made the point over and over again that he's being audited, so he can't exactly release those right now. But I should also point out that these protests or rallies, if you would, were going on all over the country, and in the majority of places, they were actually quite peaceful. I mean, there you see in New York City. They also had some of these protests going on in Chicago, and everything went just fine. What is it about Berkeley? I used to live in California, and I know that they like to protest there, and they obviously have a history of it. But why did it get so bad, do you think, Ashley, in California?
Nobody said anything. Nobody did anything. And when it was called out, if you look at the speaker, Kevin De Leon in California, his response was, "Oh, well, Trump's a bully." That's not excusable. They said because President Trump had a tweet that basically said, no federal funding. Well, there's over $100,000 in damages caused by the protesters at this point. The governor has said nothing. As he said earlier, Gavin Newsom has said nothing. These folks need to step up. California is a Democrat-run state. It's their turn to step up.
Look, I think everybody needs to step up at this point, because we do have way bigger problems. And you know what? He was elected, and hey, why not get tax rates lower? Why not stop worrying about some of the small stuff here? So good to see you guys. Great to have you. It is tax day tomorrow, and I want to bring in market watcher Carrie Culpbaum.